Hi everyone, welcome back to Daily Endeavours for Sunday the 24th of August. I'm Jackson. As always, there'll be timecodes in the description if you're just looking to fast forward when I speak about one of these options here, or, you know, anything else like that. You know how it is. So this set's okay. Little bit of running around doing stuff for this set, but it's not too bad. Everything is space game as well. The only one I wouldn't do is defeating and patrolling horror. Basically, in order to do this one, you have to go to Imperial City, and there's like world bosses. The reason I don't like it is it's a PvP zone. So while you're trying to fight these world bosses, you also have to deal with other players. And while I'm sure it's very exciting, in terms of reliability, it's not good at all. You could spend several minutes killing a world boss or getting a world boss to like 10% health. A player comes in from nowhere, kills you because they're, you're not expecting them to start hitting you, and then you die and they kill the world boss and you've got to do it again. As far as efficiency goes, it's not great. And honestly, these options are pretty quick anyway, so I just personally do these. There's not much. There is a little bit of like, what's the word? Like, interline, I guess. Like there are a few things so they can interline. Giants, ogres. There's one public dungeon group event where you can kill ogres. Also, there are ogres that can be found in one of the public dungeons. I'll go through that when I get to it. Okay, let's start off nice and easy with crafting with Alchemy. So it's 4 items. If you craft a poison with a single poison solvent and 2 reagents, like plants, mushrooms, whatever, it will craft you 4 items. So I'd suggest using poisons, otherwise with potions you need four times the amount of stuff. You can get poison solvents from killing beasts, wolves, skeevers, insects like spiders, that sorts of shit. And then the plants themselves, you're just going to have to run around in the countryside looking for stuff. So there is a magic rule that I suggest you follow whenever you want to do this. If 2 items go together and they say inert, don't make it. If they say unknown, that's good, because if you craft a poison and it says inert, it will just fail. If you craft something and it says unknown poison, it means it will work, it'll make something, you just don't know what the connection between these 2 resources is. So if I just craft this together, you can see it actually does create a poison there. So that's like a surefire way to make sure whatever you use together will work, because there's some combinations that just fail. So yeah, it's worth keeping that in mind. It's unlike the enchanting one the other day. It's not the case for enchanting, but it is for alchemy. So it's good just to be careful in that case. You don't really want to be wasting precious alchemy items. Also, speaking of precious alchemy items, don't use Columbine unless you absolutely must, because Columbine is super duper expensive. Same can be said about, I don't have any on me, Dragon Blood and Dragon Realm. Is that how you say it? Room? I wouldn't use that. I wouldn't use Scribed Jelly, Torchbug Thorax, or Mudcrab Chitin. Those tend to be much more expensive than other things. Dragon Thorn, plus Thistle, Whitecap with Blue Entolema. Those are some things I like to use together. But yeah, just as long as you can like use them together, and it's not Columbine basically, you're good. I'll talk about the Guild Daily Quest. So with this one, there's 5 options available to you, and you can get ogres in regards to the Giants endeavor from a couple of the public dungeon guild dailies. So that's what I would suggest you look at first. But just understand, the one that you choose might depend a little bit on one specific thing, and that's scribing. So the scripts that you get a guaranteed one that you haven't found on that character from each of the types of guild dailies. So this is the Mages Guild set. Like, you do a Mages Guild daily, get one of these. If you do the Fighters Guild one, you get one of these. And then the Undaunted daily, you get one of these. And Undaunted daily is kind of the one that you probably need to do the most, because I find this to like affect scripts to be the one that takes the ages to do, takes the longest to do, while the focus scripts tend to be the one that fill up first. I think once I get to the scribing skill stuff, I'll talk about this stuff more in detail. But there is one focus script that you really want to look at, making sure you get eventually, and that's multi-target. But yeah, I'll explain that when I get to it. So there's the three of the daily quests. You've got the Mages Guild, the Undaunted, and the Fighters Guild. You can find these in the capitals of each of the alliances. So this is Deshan, that's Mournhold. Eldenroot in Grotwood is another area you can get them. And then Wayrest in Stormhaven. So which one you choose just depends. I personally like Deshan the most because it's easiest to get everything on a mount. Grotwood doesn't have you can't go inside and mount, so I just find that slower. And Deshan has a house that you can reach, so when you go into public dungeons or Undaunted stuff, you can just port straight to this house after doing it. So it's completely free. You don't have to go out of the dungeon wasting heaps of time. Instead, you can just use this for free to get straight to the city. So it just cuts down time and makes it more convenient. And the reason I don't use Stormhaven is the house that you have to buy. Gardner house is way more expensive than the one that you can get in Deshan, which is like, this one here is like 10 grand. I think Gardner house is like hundreds of thousands. So yeah, if you've got Gardner house already, obviously you can do that if you want. But yeah, I just prefer Deshan. So yeah, Mages Guild Daily will be the best. Fighters Guild is pretty good, and Undaunted usually is the most shit one. Because these two here, it's kind of not impacted by players, whereas this one, players can kill the Delve boss, and you just have to like sit there and wait for it to respawn. And yeah, I just prefer doing these, because you don't have to wait for other people. The stuff here is like instant. So, for this one, yeah, do this first. Oh yeah, perfect. The reason I suggest doing this before doing the ogres or the giants is this public dungeon here in Stormhaven actually has ogres in it. So while you're doing this daily quest, you could actually get some ogres as well. Same thing with the Undaunted daily. If you are really lucky and manage to get one for Carac Dena, there are ogres in here as well. But yeah, I'd prefer doing the Mages Guild daily one, because yeah, I find it's just quicker. The other two guild dailies that you can do, yeah, I have to make sure it's not just daily quests. I bloody fucked that up last time. The heists from these guild and the Dark Brotherhood, the Black Sacrament, sorry, those also count as guild dailies. Pledges don't, for some weird reason. I still don't understand why they don't count. Even though most of them are kind of shit. If you get like Fungal Grotto 1, that'll be like super duper quick anyway, so. But yeah, I usually just do Mages Guild dailies. So let me show you something that can make this much quicker. Because right now, I don't have the Wayshrine here. I do have this one, but say you don't have anything in Stormhaven, like literally nothing. So getting here would like cause you to have to run around. Don't worry about that. There is actually a quicker way to get here. There's a house over here called Hammerdeath Bungalow. If you go to, so if you get like a public dungeon that you have no, like there's no wayshrines near it, you can use home tours to get there for free much quicker. So in this case, Hammerdeath Bungalow was the house that was near the public dungeon. So if I just go to Hammerdeath Bungalow here and travel to any of these, doesn't matter which one, what this will do is once you leave this house, it has to be owned by a player. That's the only thing. That's why you have to use home tours. So once you enter and then leave, it will take you to Stormhaven. So instead of having to run around, use boatswains or get people to port you there, you can just do this instead. So here we are, turn around, leave the home. And look at that, we're in Stormhaven. Now it's just a simple matter of either going over here or around here and getting the Wayshrine over here. And it's basically the same thing for the other zones. It's just the layouts will be a little bit different and the house locations will be different. So, for example, one of the worst ones to get to naturally, because there's like, the Wayshrine you start with is here, and it's all the way over here, Lion's Den. But there is a house called Autumn's Gate, so if you use that via home tours, it really cuts down the amount of time you're going to have to spend running around trying to get there. So that's also a really good example. And when you get to the Ogres or the Scribing one. You can also use home tools to make that journey much easier or much quicker. So this is a alchemy plant, for example. So yeah, you'll just find them in the environment. So just pick those if you want to do the alchemy option. Just any time worked. So yeah, and yeah, if you kill like a spider, you can get poisons from them too. Yeah, you can kind of do these any order that you want. Because yeah, if you don't have any alchemy reagents, you can do this first and then do the alchemy one later. But I definitely suggest the alchemy one at some point because it's really quick. Alright, so there's an ogre. There'll be a couple of these things around the place. Oh, whoops, wrong way. But usually other people will be killing them. Yeah, there's a couple of ogres there. So those count as giants. So if you're lucky and get this one, or if you get there's one more. It's located in Malabal Tor. It's Crimson Cove. The group event here is a bunch of ogres. I think it's 4 though. It might be 5, it might be 4, I can't remember. But yeah, you could also use that to get a bunch of giants. So here's the chest here, this is what we're looking for. We'll just loot this. And then from this point, so even though I looted that chest, that person over there can still use the chest. So yeah, everybody can just use this chest whenever they want. This is also the group event location, so if you haven't done this yet, probably do this too. You have to kill all the skeletons to spawn it. All of the public dungeon guild delis will all be located close to a group event. So yeah, I think it's useful doing these myself. All right, so now once we've got the chest. Now we head back to Deshan using the house that I suggested before. So this, I think it's like 13 or 11,000 gold to buy. I personally think for doing like anything scribing, like collecting the script related, it's like one of the most valuable investments of your gold in the game. Okay, back to the Mages Guild now. Hand this one in. And that counts for our Guild Daily quest. The other option for guild dailies is going to be Heists or Black Sacraments. So these require either the Thieves Guild or Dark Brotherhood DLCs, respectively. And I'd say they're quicker than the other guild dailies most of the time. Mostly, like, if you try and do them perfectly to get the best rewards, it's not going to be quicker, though. My advice is just... because you can't, fail them. You can completely ruin everything about them and then still hand them in, and you can still it still completes the quest. So that's my advice. Just Rambo through them and not give a shit. Especially since today enemies with scribe skills is one of the options. Maybe not so much for Black Sacraments, but if you have a heist, you can put an AoE scribing skill on and kill a bunch of people in here because they're all like hostile. They're not like civilians. I guess you could do the same thing in the Black Sacrament, but you'll get a fucking huge bounty if you do that. Just be warned. Okay, so for heists, you have to collect a group of either gemstones or chests, and then there'll be enemies in here. In Black Sacraments, instead of having to loot chests, you will need to, or like looting chests or gemstones, you'll have to kill a target specifically. They've got like a Dark Brotherhood icon above their head, and you'll know that's who it is. There's always a main target and a secondary target. Oh wow, I got hit again. Sorry, I just used that one. So yeah, you'll know who to kill because they have the Dark Brotherhood icon above them. Now, in both the cases, I don't know if it's as much the case for Black Sacraments, but definitely for heists, there'll be traps all over the place. I think the traps will be your biggest threat. I find that they deal way more damage than the enemies do. So yeah, while you're going through here, with the heists, you can also kill the enemies with scribe skills, and that way you can get 2 done at once. They're not super tanky, so you can get you can kill one at a time quite easily with just a single skill. But my advice is, if you really want to speed this part up, like the scribing skills one, enemies in like a room, like stack them all up together if there's multiple. Like for example these ones. And then wait for them to group up, Wait for this guy to come over. There we go. And now just AoE the group of them together. So that you're not wasting time using ones, like killing one at a time. Yeah, we'll keep moving around. But yeah, I just think that would be better for efficiency instead of just worrying about the bonus timer. Because honestly, the extra rewards for a heist are not worth bothering with. But that's just me. It's not super difficult completing a heist in time. But Black Sacraments are a pain in the ass to do perfectly. Right, so if you fail the bonus objective, you'll always get like one of these sort of mini-bosses. They are super duper weak though. You can solo them pretty easily. Remember, this is a solo instance, and it's a sort of a normal difficulty solo instance. So yeah, you're not going to struggle that much. Oh, enemies... I killed them already. I think enemies respawn in here. That's interesting. I don't want to waste my time. That's everything. So now just go to the end, talk to this guy, and leave. And that one in. That's a guild daily done as well. Okay, next up, we've got scribing kills. So there's two ways to do this that I think are pretty good. You can either kill critters and just find a bunch of 40 critters. There's a bunch of critters in the scribing wings, so you can like kind of make it easier that way. Or you can kill a bunch of regular enemies with AoE skills. I wouldn't suggest trying to do it with a single target for like enemies, because it'll take way too long. Killing 40 enemies takes ages. Alright, so let me first cover what I would recommend for skills. So Wield Stole, this is basically as soon as you start the scribing questline, this is what you get. You'll start with magic damage. In order to unlock a stamina morph, because physical bleed, that stuff uses stamina instead. If you just prefer that, you need to go a little bit further in the scribing questline to unlock the physical damage script, because you need to, there's certain quests you need to do. If not, you can just use magic damage, and that just costs magicka. So whichever one you use there, this is like, it's really quick to get this one, really easy to use. This is the one I would suggest using on critters. You can also use it as a spam ball for fighting like enemies, but I'd still suggest like AoEs for most of them. As far as AoEs go, my preferred is Traveling Knife with multi-target as the focus script. The other stuff isn't too important, but Warrior's Opportunity I think is best, and then Vulnerability or Off Balance, whatever you've got here basically is fine. If I were to choose though, I'd go fourth, because yeah, critical damage is always good. Berserk's good too. On some classes, just depends on which ones get it. But yeah, this doesn't matter too much. If you don't have access to Traveling Knife, or you're using a Magicka build, use Soul Burst instead. The reason I say that is without multi-target, this is like the main reason why I'll use Traveling Knife, because it deals damage to everything. If you use any other version, it either deals damage to enemies in the path of when it returns, which is kind of useless because normally the first enemy in like your line of sight is going to be the one that you target, and usually that means there's like you're not targeting the ones at the back, so nothing is going to get hit in front of them usually. So I don't really like these. And yeah, multi-target is stamina. So if you're a Magicka build, using this as a spam ball you can struggle. So in that case, Soul Burst is the one that you get for completing the scribing questline, which takes a few hours, but yeah, once you get access to this, you can use this instead as well. So yeah, this has all the options, both stamina and Magicka. It's just single target, and I find the AoE is smaller than the one for Traveling Knife. But yeah, this is the alternative. And yeah, same thing, either physical, you can use magic, frost, bleed, whatever you've got access to, shock damage, you know. And then here, Lingering Torment. So the thing to remember about kills with scribe skills is the last hit must be with a scribed ability, or the thing that kills them. Because if something else kills them, it doesn't actually count. Lingering Torment still counts as one of these options. So stacking a bunch of abilities that applies Lingering Torment can be really good, because that can also get the kills. And as far as other stuff, you know, Warrior's Opportunity is fine. Here, it's just more like whatever you've got available is fine. Sage's Remedy could be good too, because normally you don't get much health back from Scribing abilities unless you use healing. In that case, you don't deal any damage, which is kind of counterintuitive. And then affixes is just kind of whatever you got. Vulnerability is good. Force is good. I think it's Trample, isn't it? Trample gets Mangle. If you've got access to Mangle, that one's also great for Trample. Trample I use at the very start of a fight, because it has a cast time. I hate Scribing skills as cast times, because if you get stunned, it slows you down like crazy. It's because well, not really slows you down. You can't cast a skill if you've with a cast time if you've been interrupted recently, so you just kind of got to wait for this to be usable again. So yeah, that's why I use it at the very start when you're not getting attacked by anything, and it covers a huge ground, and I'll show you in a minute. But yeah, so what I'm using on the front is... So I use Sundering Burst, Shattering Knife, Bloody Contingency, and Sundering Trample. So it just depends. If you're a Magicka build, this might look a little bit different. But yeah, basically just stack a bunch of Scribing skills on your front bar that do AoE, and just kill a bunch of weak targets. But first, I'll just show you some options for critters. So, the wings of the Indrik, the Netch, and the Griffin have critters in them. And if you kill these critters with a Scribe skill, it counts for the Endeavour. And because they have 1 HP, all you need is a single target skill. That's why I suggest you use Wield Soul for this. But yeah, you need to kill quite a few, and there's only approximately 20 in this area here. But the good thing is, if you kill 20, the other 20 you can get using Skeevers in dungeons, and that's what I suggest you do. Because Skeevers, you can also just use a single target ability, and... Oh no, sorry, AoE skill, and they die super quick anyway. So yeah, the wing of the Indrik, wing of the Netch, and the wing of the Griffin. These all have some critters. The only issue is, I thought they were instant. They're not. But I find very few people come in here just to kill the critters. So usually you'll be good there. The other options for critters in Stonefalls, there are a bunch of spiders just northeast of the Devonswatch stable. So over here, to find some little spider critters. In Oridon, you've also got Monkey's Rest here. This has tons of monkeys in it, and yeah, easy to get to because again, Wayshrine here that you start with by default, so you can just travel northwest a bit and get to Monkey's Rest pretty easily. Alikid Desert, you've also got Divad's Chagrin, this oasis over here. This has got tons and tons of goats. So the goats are also critters that you can kill with one hit. Getting here, instead of traveling via boats, planes, or ship, or maybe you could get someone to bring you here. If not, just use House of the Silent Magnifico in home tours. Alright, for any time the 40 Scribe skills one comes up for killing, I like to use Wayrest's one, because it's instant, so nobody else can come in and kill this shit, so you're not waiting for stuff to respawn. And the Skeevers in this room are super weak. So what you can kind of do, I suppose, is kill 20 Skeevers here, and maybe if you want to do Giants as well, you can kill some Ogres with the rest of your Scribe skills, or you can kill the Skeevers, go kill the Giants, or do one of the other options here, and then come back in here, and usually the Skeevers will reset. If not, there are some enemies in this room here that also can be killed. They're just a little bit tougher than the Skeevers in this room, so they're a bit more of a pain to kill. But you can kill them with one skill. If it's AoE, it's just a bit more taxing on your resources. But yeah, whichever way you want to do it, it's up to you. Yeah, what I like to do in here is just group everything up. So I'll just grab this group here, grab these guys, grab these guys. You might aggro a crocodile. Try not to, because they're very tough, and avoiding them if possible is good. So yeah, all the Skeevers in here though. These are what I like to use. So just make sure you keep healing yourself, because you know, Skeevers are weak, but 20 Skeevers is still a lot of damage. So yeah, I'll just show you the combo. So I'll go Contingency, Trample, and yeah, you can see everything dies pretty quick. So Spamble, and you can also use Soul Burst as well. Okay, so if we go through here, ignore this guy, he's a boss, and it takes ages to kill him, and it's just one enemy, so it's just going to be kind of worthless. So you've got all these enemies here, all these enemies here. If you group these guys up together, you can also kill them. So with this group, what I would do is just attack them, come into here. What this will do is it'll pull all the ranged enemies to the same spot. If they do this, maybe first just hit them to get them closer, because otherwise they'll just sit in the background and not fight you. But yeah, so now we've got all the ranged enemies over here. Oh, God damn it, that guy's not communicating with us very well. But yeah, just group them all together like that, and just start hitting them with all your scribing skills. Just it stacks all the ranged enemies and melee enemies together usually. Yeah, that's also why I like to use the skeevers, because they're all melee, so one or two of them won't always hang in the background and make your life a pain. But yeah, something like that works very well for scribe skills. So now what you can do is just go back. Oh, there's a chest there. If you leave through the front door, whichever waystone you came in from, it'll take you straight back. That's also why I like using Wayrest one. Alright, last option. Let's have a look at giants. So, even though it's giants on the actual thing here, I don't really suggest these because giants are much less common than ogres. So I will just go through the one giant location I usually use, which is Lower Yorgrim. This is just to the east of Eastmarch in Windhelm. Getting here for the first time, my advice is to use Grymharth Row here as a home tours house. So just, yeah, same thing as the other times, just travel to it, go out the front door, and then you'll rock up here. And then you also have this waystone from that point, so you can use that too. But yeah, the main issue I have is people come through here and kill them very quick. So sometimes you can struggle to actually find one to kill. Yeah, if there's just like one person, it's usually not too bad. But yeah, my preference is a different location. Alright, so while there are a couple of locations that house a few giants, maybe like half a dozen at a time, the amount of places and the amount of ogres, the amount of places that have ogres and the number of ogres it usually has is far more reliable than any of the giants options. So that's what I'd suggest. Just like looking at this this delve here, the very first, like the corridor, there's already like almost 5. And yeah, you can see all of them down there. There's heaps of ogres in here. So yeah, anytime you want to do this one, I suggest using ogres. So let me go through the options here. Carac Dena. This is in green shade. This is probably the most annoying one to get to at first. But once you have this waystone and you go over through here and go down the way over here, this option is fucking great because this whole delve is just full of ogres all fucking over the place. So yeah, Carac Dena is great. The other really good option is Stormhaven in Shinji Scarp. If you want access to this, the house here. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'll show you the one for this first. Bouldertree Refuge. That's the quickest way to get here through home tours. So just go over here, down here, get this waystone, and then down here you're good to go. The one in Stormhaven, instead, you want to go Gardner House. So you want to find this on home tours as well. Just go down this road here, get this waystone, and then you got access to Shinji Scarp. This area here, they'll throw like rocks at you over this side, but once you get past the rocks, there are a lot of ogres here that you can kill too. A couple of bears, but yeah, mostly ogres. I already mentioned in Stormhaven as well, you've got Bone Snap Ruins. This has ogres in it too. Not as many though as Shinji Scarp or Carac Dena, and I find the ogres in there are usually killed quite often too. Also mentioned the public dungeon group event in Crimson Cove has a few, but yeah, I wouldn't really recommend this because as soon as someone does it, you're waiting quite a while for it to respawn. So yeah, it's not great. I imagine there's a couple more places that you can find ogres, like Orsinium is another example. Around the Mad Ogre's altar, there's a bunch of ogres here, and I'm sure there are in other places. You know, Skullcaller Peak has ogres as like the main enemy type, so if you do that dungeon, you'll get them. But most of the ogres that you'll find are overland, so the mileage of this option might vary, but usually for the best results, I find Carac Dena or Shinji Scarp to be the best, just because they're all over the place. But yeah, whichever one you choose, don't really think there's a bad option. Just depends on the time of day and how lucky you are with other people being there. So yeah. Alright, that's daily's done. Weekly resets tomorrow, so I'll be doing a video for that one. Hopefully much faster than the one I did last time. If you have any questions, as always, or if you have any insights, some alternatives to any of these options, do let me know in the comments. But that's it for now. So thanks everyone for watching. I do really appreciate your support as always. Take care for now. I will see you next time.